Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with another episode of the Strafing Run. And today's background footage brought to you in part by World of Warships and MechWarrior Online. Nothing crazy, just some basic matches I recorded during the week. But before we get into anything specific, I wanted to remind you guys that I'll be out of town from the 10th of December up to the 13th. PGI, developers of MechWarrior Online, are flying me up to Vancouver for their Steam launch party. This is a bag of fantastic. Not the first time a developer's flown me somewhere, but I really always appreciate when they do. Obviously, you know, there's great expense and travel. Sure, they can write it off, but, you know, it's still pretty great. It's a fantastic gesture, especially from a company that I've often criticized in regards to development. You know, MechWarrior Online is by no means perfect, but it is a game that I often go back to. And, you know, I'm sure those of you that are familiar with my MechWarrior videos know that I've been sometimes pretty harsh. But I think that they always see that I'm critiquing the game for the best because I like the game. I always go back to it. You know, it's an off and on title for me. They know that deep down inside I enjoy it and I care about it, and that's why I critique it. It's not because I hate it. It's because I love it and I want it to do well. So therefore, I try to help it by providing critique. That's really why I do this for a lot of games. If you see me, you know, going crazy or ranting and raving about a game, it's not because I'm hating on it. It's because I want it to be good, because I really want to enjoy it. And I think PGI understands that. So they're flying me out. They're paying my way, and this is great, and it's just very much appreciated. Between the support of PGI and the guys at No Guts, No Galaxy, Darren and Phil, all that stuff, it's just very much appreciated, because getting support from developers or other communities is very difficult. As a YouTuber, you have to fight for it sometimes, and a lot of developers will only help out people that speak kindly of their titles on a regular basis. And it's nice to see that there are developers out there that are fine with the occasional criticism. You know, I don't try to be a jerk about it or anything. I just say things a certain way, and hopefully devs get it, and it seems like PGI does. So, you know, say what you want about them. I get to see how they operate, and I think compared to a lot of developers and publishers, this ain't half bad. But anyways, moving on from that, I would like to discuss last week's Strafing Run episode, which did pretty well, actually. These videos don't usually get a lot of viewership. That one did, I think, maybe because of the title. Maybe people saw, you know, the truth is out there and perhaps assumed controversy or something. I don't know. But it seems like a lot of you are very supportive of how I want to run the channel. A lot of you are like, do what you want, SideStrafe, you know, play the games you want, enjoy yourself, have fun, just keep putting out content, keep streaming, keep delivering commentary. We don't care what you play, you know. And the fact that there are several thousand of you that feel that way, that's amazing, and that motivates me to keep going, to continue this channel, you know. It was like a weight off my chest, really, because there are times, or there have been times, where I felt like, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to play this game, you need to make a video of this, you need. That's that keyword, need. And I think anytime it's need versus want, there's a problem. And I think that's when the channel suffered the most. And I think that's when the channel was kind of in a dark age. And that's probably when I was the least happy with the channel, is when I felt like it was less of a hobby and more of a business. And even though I know I live off of this channel right now, and even though technically it is a business, treating it like one, I think, in a way hurts it, because for my best content to be produced, I have to be happy about what I'm playing. I have to enjoy what I'm playing. And I think there were times with certain games that I know I just wasn't enjoying. I was just making content because I felt like I needed to. Like, well, you got to keep this group happy. You got to keep these views. And I know that I can't do that. I can't. Sure, I could pretend, right? I could act. I could lie. I could just fake it and, oh, this is making money? Okay. But I've always been against that kind of behavior, and that's what the last video was about. And I'm glad that I could maybe educate some of you in the ways of YouTube and Twitch, and perhaps help some of you see what is going on out there. However, yeah, it's not easy to kind of get out of that way of thinking. To tell yourself, play what you want. Just make sure that the quality's there. Make sure the video looks good. Make sure the audio is great. Make sure that there is some sort of thought-provoking discussion, commentary that matches the gameplay. You know, stay on topic. Try to entertain and educate. Standards come into play. Just make sure that those things are consistent, and then the game doesn't have to be. I've been trying to tell myself that more. Doesn't matter what you play. Just make sure everything else is consistent. Okay, I can do that. And then when I think, wow, I actually have thousands of people that are okay with me doing that, this is fantastic. And so I have to realize, no matter how many subscribers I have today or that I'll have in the future, always just need to remember that this is a hobby channel, and it's a place for people with similar interests, and those people will always be there. And that's fine. And I think why I'm even more motivated to work on the channel to live stream. You know, lately, it's no secret I'm addicted to Star Wars Battlefront. Warships and MechWarrior Online are kind of secondary for me at the moment. I've been wanting to play them. Got some games in. You're looking at some footage. But yeah, I've been totally addicted to Star Wars Battlefront. The channel's, for the most part, saturated with it. I probably could have put some Battlefront footage into here as well, but I figured, oh, I recorded some of this, so I'll throw something different here. And yes, I did it because I wanted to. It wasn't because I felt like I needed to. This is stuff that I just wanted to share. But you guys have been fine with Battlefront, and many of you don't even own the game. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you don't care for it. You know, you just don't like first-person shooters, but you watch it anyway, some of you, and you just like the commentary. You like the discussion. You maybe take some of the things that I say and apply them to other games. I mean, a lot of my tactics, a lot of my ideas come from typical, you know, general issue military tactics that you can find in a book, you know, flanking maneuvers, covering fire, suppressive fire, you know, just basic elements from, you know, war that you can apply to a realistic game, an unrealistic game, whatever. I mean, it's a lot of the same techniques being applied to Star Wars Battlefront. And so, yeah, even if you don't like the game, you can still get something out of it. And that's what I try to provide. And that's what I think I'm glad a lot of you are intelligent enough to appreciate. I think you get it. And that's why you stick around. And that's also fantastic. Now, I think I'm going to switch gears a little bit here and perhaps answer some basic questions that I've gotten over the past week or so. First and foremost, I guess this is a question that applies to just various games, but there's always somebody that's asking about when I'm going to go back to a certain game. Usually it's something like, when are you going to play World of Tanks again? Or when are you going to make some more videos for this? Or not even asking, but more so telling me to, can you play this again? Can you make videos for this again? Or sometimes demanding, you know, if you don't make this game again, or video for this game again, or if you don't play World of Tanks again, I'm out of here. And World of Tanks is just one example. There could be a variety of games, but World of Tanks is usually one of them that gets brought up the most. And I have to say, I don't feel like playing. Why not? Because I don't want to play. Have you ever not been in the mood to do something before? It's the same thing. I'm just not in the mood to play it. There are certain mechanics about those kinds of games that do bother me. I'm not a huge fan of invisible anything in video games. I'm not a fan of the artillery systems. You know, the same reason I'm not even playing Armored Warfare, because there's too many similarities to World of Tanks. I was hoping there wouldn't be, but there are, unfortunately. You know, I thought they were going to go in a different design direction. Sadly, it does not seem to be the case. But I continue to keep an eye on things. people have been telling me that Wargaming is adding some new sound effects to World of Tanks for the engines and things like that. And it's like, oh my goodness, finally. I might actually check that out because I love good sound design. So we'll see if that piques my interest. Anything can happen. You know, I don't want to say never, but, you know, right now, just simply not in the mood to play that game. And that really can go for any title that you might be thinking of. As the channel works right now, as it operates, I'm just playing what I enjoy. I'm sharing with you what I'm playing. That's it. Simple as that. Moving on from that, another one people are asking about. It's a newer game, Rainbow Six Siege. Obviously, many of you asked me whether I'm going to be taking a look at that based on the fact that I talk a lot about some of my all-time favorite games, which was Rainbow Six 1 and 2, maybe even 3. Raven Shield was pretty good, and then Ghost Recon 1, Tom Clancy titles. And we can talk a little bit about Battlefront to make this comparison, because Rainbow Six Siege is one of those games that to me is not enough like the original Rainbow Six games for me to want to play it, much like the new Battlefront isn't enough like Battlefront 2 for some of you to want to play that. So really, the same reason some of you aren't playing the new Battlefront is the same reason I don't want to play Rainbow Six Siege. It's simply that it's not the kind of tactical first-person shooter I'm looking for. I don't really like the siege mechanics, the whole thing with you know, the bad guys or the terrorists kind of trying to bunker themselves up in a house with barbed wire and boarding up windows and things like that. I'm just not really into those mechanics. I don't feel that the game is enough like the original Rainbow Six games for me to want to take a look at it. I feel that it greatly deviates from the original formula, and I didn't enjoy what I played of it to want to cover it. Then you could say, well, why are you playing Battlefront? Because it's the same problem. It's, you know, a game that isn't like its predecessor, and you'd be correct, but I think it's just one of those things where right now I'm in the mood for what Battlefront is. I'm in the mood for a twitchy Star Wars shooter, and it's providing me with that. So it might just be a simple case of right now Rainbow Six Siege is not something I'm looking for. I guess I'm just in a Twitch shooter mood at the moment, and on top of that, the one game that is tactical that I probably will be taking a look at is called Squad, and this is the title by the developers of Project Reality. And I figure since that's on the horizon, then I'm probably just going to forego anything that I don't think will meet my needs, and that includes Rainbow Six Siege. Now, I'm not saying that Siege is a bad game. I'm just saying that right now, at this point in time, it's not the right game for me. So, if you're enjoying it, fantastic. I'm glad that you can enjoy it. It's just not on the table at the moment for me. If that changes, well, then you'll see a video of it on the channel. All right, next up we got a little bit of MechWarrior Online for you, and I'm back in the Raven 3L here. I do own the new Marauder, or the new old Marauder, maybe. I don't know. But I haven't really figured out a build for it yet, which is why you're not seeing any footage of it. I think once I figure out a comfortable build, I'll make a full-blown Marauder MechWarrior Online video. Obviously, that is a legendary mech that has just made a return to this game. The legal issues surrounding that and the other unseen mechs seem to have been resolved. You can actually see some Marauders running around here. Probably the best looking mech in the game currently, I'd say. Model-wise, there's one to the left. But yeah, we'll try to get one of those up and running soon. I'm just not great with heavy mechs, so I tend to stick between mediums and lights. That and everybody and their mother is rolling in one since it's brand new, so the queues are kind of filled with heavies and it's hard to get into a match sometimes. So another question I tend to receive I think, again, in regards to Star Wars Battlefront, many of you feel that I'm not being critical enough. And so some of you are suspicious. And I can tell you that I haven't received any money from Electronic Arts to promote the game. And if I did, I would be required by law to divulge this. There has to be... well, first of all, the only way they do it is through their sponsorship program, which is called EA Ronku, which is... I don't even know what that stands for, but... you may have noticed if you go to a YouTuber like Jack Frags or Frankie in 1080p, and you see a Battlefront video, in the first 5 seconds of the vid, there's like a little logo that says sponsored by EA Ronku. And then it also has to be said in the description at the top somewhere. So, I mean, you can go through my videos. You'll see none of that currently. And I say currently because I have been accepted into the EA Ronku program. However, I've held off on accepting any of their missions, which would then grant me money based on number of views, simply because I feel that there will be backlash from the sponsorship. You know, all of a sudden, you see a Star Wars Battlefront video and it says sponsored by EA, and it's like, wait a minute, is this why he likes the game? You know, so you can see where the problem is, and let's face it, Battlefront is not getting a fair shake at the moment. There's a lot of hatred directed towards the title, and you know, that makes it even harder for me to even want to be a part of any EA sponsorship program. So I've held off. I haven't accepted anything officially yet. I can be a part of it if I want. I can make a little extra off of the videos, depending on what kind of like missions they have going on to cover certain aspects of their games. But again, I'm kind of afraid to. I know many of you would understand. Many of you are probably thinking right now, dude, we don't care. Make some extra money. No big deal. We trust you. Who cares? Don't listen to those other people. And you know, I'm sure I'll appreciate those comments, but it's hard for me. You know, I'm not a journalist. I never said that I was. I'm not a magazine writer. I'm not a reviewer. I'm just a guy who likes to play video games and somebody who likes to share their opinion online. That's it. I'm not here to tell you what games to buy or not to buy. I can make suggestions based on facts. You know, like when I said, guys, you might not want to buy Black Ops 3 right now because the PC performance is pretty bad, and I don't want you to regret your purchase. So I'll make a suggestion based on the fact that there are actually technical issues with the title. But, you know, beyond that, again, you need to try these games out for yourself and forget about my opinion or the opinion of others when it comes to how you enjoy a title. The other issue is, of course, I'm just a bit OCD with my videos, and having somebody else's branding at the front of my vid kind of bothers me. Like, I don't want this EA sponsorship logo at the front of the vid. You know, it just drives me nuts just looking at it. Why is it there? You know? But it's a requirement. You have to do it. And if you're not doing it and you're taking their money, then you're going to get in trouble. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do that yet. I mean, I could have potentially made... I have one video, the Battle of Jakku video, the first impression of that. It's like 30,000+ views on that. That could have been sponsored. I could have, you know, made some nice little extra cash with that video, but I didn't because I worry about what people will think. I know I shouldn't, but I do. You know, I do want the channel to grow. I want to get more subscribers and viewers, and I want to make this a great place for people to hang out. For those of you with similar interests that enjoy being here and enjoy the content, I want there to be more of those people. And I know that that can be a bit off-putting sometimes to see that somebody is sponsored, because then they think that the opinions are all biased. So I just wanted to make sure that most of you are aware that me liking Star Wars Battlefront has perhaps more to do with my sanity level versus me accepting money. And if I did choose to partake in the EA sponsorship program, then any money I will have made will be off of videos that I was going to create anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe that is going to wrap up today's episode of the Strafing Run. Again, there may be a lapse in content due to my trip to Vancouver. Shouldn't be too bad. It's just a few days. There's probably already been a lapse in content over the past week anyway, so nothing that should be out of the ordinary. If I can squeeze in another Star Wars Battlefront video before I go, there might be one of those. But until I return, thank you so very much for joining me. It is always appreciated, and I will definitely see you on the next one.